3, 2, 1, go. Come on, little buddy. Oh. We're not gonna hit 60. Yeah, we gotta slow down. Well, we just hit 60. That one was probably not the best because we probably did it in like 10, 11 seconds. But again, from factory, on a good enough surface, this thing should do 0 to 60 in about, give or take, 8 seconds. Basically, the essence of this car, it's the entry-level one to get you into the brand, get you excited for what Ford is gonna keep doing. And if you want, it's like, okay, it's like a V6 muscle car. That's the best example I can give you for this car. This car is basically like the V6 muscle car for off-roaders. Ladies and gentlemen, today you guys join me in the 2025 Ford Bronco Sport, the Big Blend edition. And before we go any further, let's start this baby up. Foot on the brake. This is the entry-level trim for the Bronco. 1.5 liter inline 3-cylinder. Yes, it is a 3-cylinder. Pushing roughly 180 horsepower and 190 pound-feet of torque. 8-speed automatic transmission, all-wheel drive, and this is what our key looks like. We're gonna go for a quick little walk around. Let me turn off the fan fast. First, the Bronco has stayed original to its body style since this thing first came out. One of my favorite features about the Bronco so far, besides the headlights, is the 2 huge little bumps on the hood that are way more visible when you're driving it. It feels like you're pointing it in a direction like a little missile. But yes, this thing is classified as a small SUV, and the clearance is pretty decent. I wouldn't, it's, how should I put it? It's not exactly a Wrangler competitor. It's more of a Honda CR-V, Volkswagen Tiguan competitor, at least for this class. The more expensive ones, those are the more off-roady monsters that can go pretty much anywhere and compete with the Wrangler and so on and so forth. And since this one doesn't exactly compete with the Wrangler, we don't have to worry about the notorious death wobble that the Wrangler has when you're driving it at highway speeds, because we're right beside a highway and naturally we're gonna take it onto the highway. 0 to 60 comes in a good 8 seconds. Not the quickest thing out there, but that's not the reason you buy a Bronco. And if you're wondering, we don't have a trunk release button, but if you come down here, you have 2 options. You can open up your glass or your door. So if I click this button, the glass over here pops up. Enough space for your dog to like pop his head out if he really wants to. Close that up, and then I can open up my trunk door with a backup camera right here. Hopping down, you have your night light over here that you can turn on back here. This is very helpful if you decide to go camping or do some light off-roading. And another one right here with the Bronco logo right in the middle. And yes, you will realize that the Bronco logo is a horse switch. The first time I drove a Bronco, that was the coolest thing out there. But hopping into the back, nothing crazy. Cloth seats all around, USB-C ports down here with your vents, cup holders, cloth seats, like comfortable and decent enough leg room. Again, small SUV kind of things. Beautiful trim over here. This is like my favorite part. Now hopping into the front, the main attraction of this Big Blend Bronco. Quickly put on my seatbelt. Good 13 inches of screen. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto responds pretty well. And just so you know, everything you would ever need is gonna be on this screen. To shut it off, you can do this, just like hide it away basically. And a fully digital gauge cluster, nothing analog. We are like in 2025, they have removed everything analog. Window controls over here, door controls, adaptive cruise control, and yes, we do have heated seats. And pretty much everything here, it may be a bit overwhelming for you to get used to every single thing being here. Your AC, your heated seats, your media, everything. Down here we just have traction control, backup camera, and auto stop and go for the 3-cylinder, which seems like overkill because I don't think something like a 3-cylinder needs any more fuel savings. And going back to the point I was telling you guys before, the 2 huge, well, not even vents, they're just huge bumps basically, protrusions out of the hood, makes you feel like I'm steering a ship. That's the illusion is there. and I kind of like it. I really like the design and the Bronco lettering right over there. And if you're wondering how this thing handles daily driving, because this is honestly the kind of driving this car is mostly going to be featuring, really. Most people who buy the big blend Bronco Sport, I'm not going to be taking this thing off-roading. Believe me, I've tried. I remember I was supposed to review this thing during a snowstorm, actually, to test out its off-roading capabilities, and I got stuck in 8 inches of snow in a parking lot. It wasn't plowed or anything. I was like, okay, I'm in a Bronco, I should be decently okay to go into this empty parking lot. Nope, I got stuck for like an hour shoveling myself out. So like, just know your limits when you're driving a car like this. Don't let the power get to your head, which again, this thing is still pretty decent. It will take you a lot of places. Just don't take it to the extreme deep end of whatever you're thinking you can do, essentially, right? like any other car, basically. But again, let's just go through our digital gauge cluster. We're gonna hop onto the highway, pretty much get it to highway level speeds and see how the suspension handles, because we do have a little bit more clearance than your standard SUV, but also we do look a little bit better too. Taking a corner, we're going 40. A lot of body roll, I'm really not gonna lie, but that is to be expected in an SUV like this. And since I didn't put it in sport mode right away, we're just gonna step on it. Pretty competent. Like, the 3-cylinder is actually not bad. Pretty competent. We have blind spot monitoring. We also have lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control. And since the tires are pretty much all-terrain tires and not exactly meant for the summer or the pavement, really, they're meant to take you anywhere within reason. It's not exactly the most quietest ride out there. And as I'm driving right now, I do hear a handful of wind noise protruding into the car. I'm double checking to make sure all my windows are closed so I'm not overhearing something, but again, most people are not going to be driving in silence, so usually you would have some music playing, so it would be something a little bit like this.
Check out this album track on Ozzy's Boneyard.
And then the noise just disappears, well, the road noise disappears. And in terms of size and the way I am handling right now, it's somewhat of a windy day, especially on the highway right now. It's not bad, so I'm going to turn on my adaptives, keep on my lane keep assist, get my adaptive cruise control ready. Cruise control not available right now. Oh, because I turned off traction control, that's on me. So again, your cruise control will not engage if your traction control is completely off. So, well, we're in traffic, so this is to be expected. Natural 401 stuff. It's 10:50. Why is there standstill traffic at 10:50? I swear, this is why people start paying for tolls and stuff, just to get away from all this extra stuff. But okay, let's mellow down. Take it easy. Enjoy the slow-paced driving, even though we're supposed to be doing 100. But if you're wanting our range, this thing is really, really good on range. Right now, we are at, let's say, pretty much almost a full tank. We have 466 kilometers before we reach empty. And we are using 10.2 liters for every 100 kilometers. And this is me kind of beating on the car a little bit, being a little bit extra, taking off at every traffic light to kind of get a sense of what this car is capable of. We don't have any trails nearby to me right now, so I cannot take it off-roading right now. But essentially, I am just here to show you guys that this thing is not as off-roady as y'all think. This is more of the entry level to get you into the Ford Bronco brand. After you fall in love with something like this, you'll go level up to something like the Badlands version, which is a little bit more off-roady with 19-inch wheels, bigger engine, because this engine is borrowed from the Ford Escape, which is, in my opinion, pretty underpowered. But again, they've put it into the Bronco, giving it a different body shell, basically a very different interior as well. But that's the thing about big auto manufacturers, is that they will use the same engine for a lot of things. Though I'm just glad the Raptor has its own personality, essentially. This one reminds you that you're still in a regular SUV that does this job well, and it introduces you to the Ford Bronco brand to the point where, again, upgrading it is in the realm of possibility. Only thing, like I said before, you just gotta get used to everything of yours being over here. Basically, that's it. Everything of yours, from your Apple CarPlay to your music, from your trip advisory, is on this huge 13.2 inches to be precise. Yes, I did measure it off screen right here, which again ain't bad, but that is basically the Bronco for you in a very quick nutshell. There really isn't much to cover for it. It's gonna be like a quick little review of this car. It's a standard SUV, all-wheel drive, for most weather conditions and snow that we get here in Canada. You'll be okay with the tires this thing comes with stock. It comes with Continental tires, pretty good for pretty much every weather, any weather condition. But once you start trying to do the little bit of more extreme things, like what my uneducated self decided to do, trying to take this thing into somewhat pretty deep snow in an unplowed parking lot with almost 6+ inches of snow depending on the day, then I got somewhat stuck. I was able to get out, but I did keep my wheels spinning to the point where I thought I wasn't gonna be able to make it. I thought I was gonna have to call some friends to come and dig me out. But that is where this one lies. If your Honda could not do it, this one would probably be able to do it, but it will have a pretty difficult time. This is gonna be a very honest review, because I'm not gonna try blow some smoke and try and beautify this car too much. Again, it's a beautiful car, one of the best looking in its segment, and one of the more rugged looking ones if you don't want to get a Jeep. But then we also gotta address the fact that it's not the most extreme off-road. Those are for the higher trim models of this one. This one is the entry-level one that gets you into the Ford brand, gets you introduced, gets you acclimatized a little bit, and you're like, you know what, I want something a little bit more rugged. I want something a little bit more off-road style. The suspension in this one is tuned for daily driving, and the tires are still pretty comfortable on this road right now. And then when you're like, oh, you know what, I want something crazier, I want to be a little bit more balls to the wall, I want to probably compete with my friend who has the 392 Jeep or something, that's when the higher trims pop up. That's when the bigger tires start showing up. That's when the more softer and more finely tuned springs, for suspension at least, that takes you off-roading, starts popping up at least. That is basically the essence of this car. It's the entry-level one to get you into the brand, get you excited for what Ford is gonna keep doing. And if you want, it's like, okay, it's like a V6 muscle car. That's the best example I can give you for this car. This car is basically like the V6 muscle car for off-roaders. It gets you into it, it gives you the off-roading look, it gives you that intimidation and rugged factor, but it's not exactly the muscle car experience. Let's say you upgrade to a Ford Mustang GT, you see the biggest difference between an EcoBoost. That's the same with this one. Once you level up to like the Badlands, you'll be like, wow, that's the biggest difference. And then after this one, you then level up to, let's say, the Raptor, and then it's a whole different thing. Think of it again like the muscle car trim levels. The GT, like for Dodge, you got the GT, you got the RT. For Ford, you got the EcoBoost, you got the V6, you got the GT, then you got the Mach 1, then you get to the GT350, then you get the GT500. Like, all these cars, again, the entry-level ones are just like the precursor to get you excited and introduce you to the higher trims to basically just get you excited. Essentially, that is what this car is meant to do. Again, I feel like I've been rambling. I feel like I've hammered down the point enough to get you to understand. But if you've driven a standard SUV, just understand this one is gonna be slightly better than that. Not to the point where it's considerable, to the point where you're like, oh, because again, they gotta keep the cost low for this one. This thing is like 35K, brand spanking new. This is a 2025. So in that aspect, it's gonna be better at off-roading than your standard SUV like that one. I could probably go further than the average Toyota Highlander. Not the same class, but you get the gist of it. And then at that point, it still acts like a standard SUV. It saves me a lot of gas right now. Like if we go over here, nope, features, apps, there we go. If we go over here, you can see our gas mileage is 10.2, and we're cruising at 30 kilometers an hour on the highway. We're supposed to be doing 100. Fair enough, but again, it does a little bit of everything. It does it well. It does it above average too. But again, the precursor, this thing is the precursor that gets you excited for the higher trims. And now I'm gonna cut off and hopefully get into some faster moving traffic so I can talk about the highway feel of this car. Pretty much, because we're going 30. This is nowhere near what somebody would be doing on a highway, so give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Alright, we're back, and now we're doing some highway driving. Proper highway driving. Again, like I said before, a little bit of wind noise, but nobody's usually riding in silence, talking to themselves. So me, it's not gonna be, I'm not gonna say it's exaggerated, but it's louder than what the usual person's gonna go through. Try driving in silence, and every car's gonna have some wind noise. But as I am driving right now, and we're gonna turn on our lane keep assist to finally use it properly, it's almost fully autonomous. We're going on 119. The car notices cars in front of me, and again, I won't recommend you to take your hands off the wheel. You gotta keep your hands off the wheel, because the lane keep assist is not gonna be perfect 110% of the time, but it's gonna keep you safe most of the time. And if you're wondering, let's say I wanna overtake this car right in front of me with very limited space, because again, somehow it's still super busy in a highway like this. We're gonna speed up a little bit, approach him, check my blind spot monitoring, and then we're gonna floor it. Kickback takes a hot second, and then there. Jump from, went up by 10 kilometers, 10, 15 kilometers, give or take. Not bad, but hey, it is what it is, man. It's a 180 horsepower in 3-cylinder. Basically, I can't ask it to do anything more extra than that. Just know you're not gonna be beating any high-speed records. You're not gonna be getting away from trouble. You're not even gonna be going fast enough to get into any trouble. That Honda Accord would probably smoke me in a 0 to 60 lineup. And again, it's a 3-cylinder. You can upgrade to the 2-liter 4-cylinder for the extra power and a little bit of more extra little oomph. If the 1.3 really, well, the braking is good, but I always put my foot on the brake because I don't know how aggressive the braking system for these adaptive cruise control cars is, and I really don't want to find out when I end up behind somebody, you know? And we're gonna go into the collector's lane, get out of this main express lane because it's nothing but trucks. Big long haul trucks too, so that's not a place I want to be in. As you can see, pulling up behind the Civic, I am kind of intimidating, slightly. I wanna feel that way a little bit, because again, this thing is kind of built to look rugged. I wouldn't say I'm as big as a Jeep, but I can say I'm comparable in size. Now let's try overtaking this one. We're gonna go from 105. Well, there's another car over there, but we're gonna try it either way. Stop. Oh, he's getting out of my way. Okay, we'll just continue going. And then 120. Not quick, but like, it accommodates for the vast majority of people. It accommodates for anybody and everybody. Like, if I gave this to a college student, this car wouldn't terrify them. If I gave this to my grandma, this car wouldn't terrify her. She will probably feel like it's almost quick, to say the least. Again, 0 to 60 does come in 8 seconds, but it's not, what's it called? The numbers, like, again, numbers just give you the facts, but the feeling of driving a car like this on the highway, I feel pretty secure. I feel higher up than most people. I can see over the boundary, well, the barrier right here, and I feel like if I end up at that barrier, I'm probably gonna survive. That's how confident I am with a car like this. And that's the thing. Now let us try to do some daily driving and get out of the main highway. Go, 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 go. It doesn't scream. This 3-cylinder doesn't scream, but you can tell it's putting in a lot of effort to get you from one point to the next, and for that you can greatly respect it. Again, a lot of weight being shifted when I need to turn, essentially. But it does the job well as a standard SUV, gets you from point A to point B, and I really can't complain, you know? Alright, so I lied. There is no tunnel segment because this thing, well, the road I took doesn't have a tunnel, but we're gonna put it into our sportiest setting and just merge back onto the road and try and get a quick 0 to 60, see what it likes. And I like the little gauge display. Like, look at this, changing up. Pretty nice. But okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Come on, little buddy. Oh, we're not gonna hit 60. Yeah, we gotta slow down. Well, we just hit 60, but I wasn't sure if we were gonna hit 60 before we got to this guy or after we got into this guy. So good to know that this thing is quick. Well, not quick, but it's adequate enough for daily driving, you know. And the thing I love about it, when you put it into this sport mode, you can hear the turbo when you let off the gas at a certain point in the RPM. I'm gonna try that for you guys real quick. So, well, too bad I can't actually downshift, otherwise it'd be much more quicker, but let's do this. Drop it to 2000 RPM. Okay, you downshift it for me. Okay, so let's just, no, it's not between, it's between 2 and 3000 RPM, or maybe 4 and 5. Nope, it's not between 4 and 5. It's between 2 and 3, which is fair. But that was like a brief 0 to 60 for you guys. Again, we don't have nearly enough roll for us to get it a proper 0 to 60, especially in a basic town as so this is arguably the best I could do. That one was probably not the best because we probably did it in like 10-11 seconds. But again, from factory, on a good enough surface, this thing should do 0 to 60 in about, give or take, 8 seconds. Give a couple milliseconds in there in between, but that's basically it. Take care, guys, and peace.